Hey guys, welcome back. I know I haven't done a painting tutorial in a while, but for this video I want to show you how I painted this old classic Citadel Shadow. It was produced for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons in the 1985, and I did, I think, a very simple and straightforward paint job. It should only take, to be honest, maybe less than 30 minutes to paint from start to finish. Very simple, but I do think it is a very striking color scheme. And I think this will help people paint alternative spirits for games of the old world or D&D or any other game that requires some undead spirits. So the first step of the model was to spray it with Citadel Chaos Black. The reason I chose that spray was mainly because the model primarily needs to be this color, so I didn't want to use any generic primer. I then grabbed Citadel's McCraig Blue, and with an old, I think medium dry brush, I just put a very heavy coat over the model. This model is very textured, so if your spirit model does have a lot of rips and tears, try to focus on them. This will give this model a very almost subtle blue glowing effect, which will help as we highlight more of the model. Here's what the model should look like. Again, I'm focusing mainly on the texture of the model, so it doesn't have to be so clean. That's for the later steps of the model. So the next step is to grab Citadel's Calidor Sky with the previous McCraig Blue. There's no real science, but I say maybe 50-50. And I grabbed the same dry brush and hit the textures once again. You don't have to go so heavy on this one, but we are slowly building up the nice transition we need. So once we highlight it up, the model looks more coherent and gives, again, this ethereal glowing effect that we want. Once we have that dry brushed, we're going to grab pure Calidor Sky and just start highlighting the raised edges of the model. This step is entirely up to your discretion, as it is basically dependent on the miniature. So for this old Citadel miniature, I am highlighting the bottom of the cape, the long edges, and then around the face and the hood. Just any area that has a very clear and defined sharp edge, just highlight it up. So the next step is to grab Techless Blue from Citadel and start basically highlighting the previous step of McCraig Blue. Like I said before, do not cover the whole previous step, or you wasted time doing it. And already we can start to see the kind of ethereal glowing effect. If not glowing, it's a nice alternative way to paint theoretically black. I know black is a very hard color to paint. Some are just doing pure black. Others are using gray. I think by using blue, it kind of gives a more like a cartoony vibe, but at the same time, some visual interest to what could be a very boring model if left as black. And this is what the model looks like after the Techless Blue step. It really is looking defined, and I'm very happy with it, and we are very close to being done. One of the last steps is to grab Vallejo Electric Blue and start highlighting just the most prominent edges. There is one more step after this, but during the time of filming, I thought I was going to stop here. So as you can see around the face, I'm just hitting more of the very sharp edges of the destroyed hood, and then I hit the bottom of the lips and the eyelids. Just don't overdo this step. I feel like if you do, it's going to make it too bright. And here's what the model looks like with the Techless Blue highlight. So originally I thought I wanted to stop here. He looked fantastic. But then as I was starting the basing, I decided to add one more color. So for the final step, I decided to grab GW's Edge Beheroth Blue. It is a very, not near white, but very bright blue. And for this step, I'm just applying it to the sharpest edges. Again, there's no exact science behind it, just whatever parts you want to pop. So for me, I aimed for the face, and then just the tips of the hood, and then the top section.